Have you ever noticed how some men, despite seeming average in every way, have women chasing after them, while you're always the one doing the chasing? It's not just about looks, money, or even having smooth talking skills, though those can help. The secret lies much deeper. In the next few minutes, I'm going to reveal a set of psychological principles that will make women irresistibly drawn to you. By the end of this video, you won't just attract women, you'll have them chasing you obsessively. But here's the catch, you need to stay until the very end, because the last principle we'll discuss will completely change how you view relationships. Are you ready? Comment "ready" below, and let's dive into the first truth. The emotional blueprint of attraction. Here's a tough pill to swallow. If you've ever wondered why she didn't call back, ghosted you after a great date, or ended up with the guy you can't stand, it's not because you weren't good enough. It's because you didn't connect with her emotions. Women don't fall for men logically. They don't sit down with a pros and cons list and decide who to date. No, attraction is emotional, raw, and unpredictable. It happens in the heart, not the head. Now, think about this, have you ever seen a woman fall for a guy who, on the surface, seemed completely average? Maybe he wasn't the tallest, richest, or best-looking man in the room, yet women were drawn to him. Why? Because he knew how to make them feel special, intrigued, uncertain, alive. Emotions are the strings that pull the heart. When you learn how to play those strings, you become the man she can't stop thinking about late at night. You become the standard by which she compares every other guy. The problem? Most men don't understand how to create these feelings. They think being nice, buying gifts, or always showing up is enough. But in today's world, women have countless options. The only way to stand out is to make her feel something intense, something she can't ignore. Now, consider this, the guy who's always available, always replying to her texts immediately, always saying yes. Does she appreciate him? Sure. But does she fantasize about him? Does she chase him? No. He's too predictable, too easy. And predictability kills attraction. If you want her to chase you, you need to create a mix of intrigue, excitement, and even a touch of tension. This isn't about being mean or manipulative, it's about being magnetic. Here's a quick challenge for you, think about a woman you're interested in right now. When you approached her, were you trying to impress her? Or did you carry yourself with the energy of a man who already knows his worth? The first approach feels exhausting, you're pushing, convincing, trying. But the second, that's effortless. That's where real attraction begins. And that's exactly what we'll dive into as this video continues. Number 2, the power of Stoic control. Let me set the scene for you. You're talking to a woman, and everything's going great. Then, out of nowhere, she throws you a curveball, a comment that feels like a test. Maybe she questions your intentions, criticizes something about you, or casually mentions another guy she's seeing. How do you respond? Most men falter in this moment. They stammer, get defensive, or worse, start bending over backward to win her approval. But the man who stays calm, the one who meets her test with quiet confidence and maybe even a playful smirk. That's the man she can't stop thinking about. Stoic control is your ability to remain composed in the face of chaos. And here's the truth, women test men all the time, not out of cruelty, but to see what you're made of. Can you handle her emotions? Can you stay steady when things get tough? Or will you crumble at the first sign of challenge? How you handle those moments determines whether she sees you as a leader or just another guy. Here's the bottom line, women respect men who respect themselves. Respect is the foundation of attraction. If she senses that you're easily shaken or desperate for her approval, her interest will vanish. But if she sees that you're steady, unshaken, and in control of your emotions, she'll start to view you as the kind of man who can handle anything, and that's incredibly attractive. Think about it. Why are women so drawn to characters like James Bond? It's not just his looks or charisma. It's his composure. He could be in the middle of a life or death situation and still sip his martini like it's just another Tuesday. That kind of unflappable confidence is magnetic. The good news? You don't need to be a secret agent to develop it. Start practicing Stoic control in your everyday life. The next time something doesn't go your way, resist the urge to react impulsively. Take a deep breath, assess the situation, and respond calmly. This isn't just about impressing women. It's about becoming a man who can navigate life's challenges with grace and confidence. And trust me, when she sees that nothing shakes you, she won't just be attracted, she'll be hooked. Number 3. Mastering emotional tension. Now, let's dive into one of the most powerful principles of attraction: emotional tension. If you take away just one thing from this video, let it be this: emotional tension is the secret sauce that keeps women chasing. It's what makes relationships exciting, what keeps her coming back for more, and what sets you apart from every other guy trying to win her over. So, what is emotional tension? It's that mix of anticipation and uncertainty. That feeling of wanting something but not being sure if you can have it. It's the reason we binge watch shows with cliffhangers and why we're drawn to mystery and suspense. In relationships, emotional tension keeps her intrigued. It's what makes her think about you when you're not around. It's what makes her want to earn your attention. Picture this: you're texting a woman. Instead of replying instantly, you take your time, not to play games, but because you're genuinely busy living your life. She sends a follow-up text: "Hey, did you see my message?" In that moment, she's thinking about you, wondering what you're up to. That's emotional tension in action. But it's not just about timing. Emotional tension thrives on unpredictability. If she can predict everything you're going to say or do, she'll lose interest. But if you keep her guessing, mixing kindness with playfulness, seriousness with humor, she'll stay hooked. Here's another scenario: you're on a date. Instead of showering her with compliments, you tease her a little. She laughs, but there's a flicker of surprise in her eyes. She's not used to a man who can challenge her in a fun, light-hearted way. In that moment, you've created emotional tension. She's intrigued, curious, and wants to figure you out. Let me be clear: emotional tension isn't about manipulation. It's about creating a dynamic that feels alive, exciting, and real. It's about being the kind of man who keeps her on her toes and makes her feel something she can't ignore. When you master this, you won't need to chase women, they'll be chasing you. Number 4. Triggering positive emotional states. Let's talk about what makes a woman feel truly addicted to you. Women don't fall for what you say or even what you do, they fall for how you make them feel. It's not about logic, it's about emotion. And here's the secret: emotions are addictive. If you can make her feel a blend of joy, excitement, curiosity, and even a hint of tension, she'll associate all those powerful feelings with you. She won't just like you, she'll crave you. Think about it: why do people return to the same songs, movies, or experiences over and over? Because those things made them feel something unforgettable. Relationships work the same way. If you're just nice, always agreeable, and predictable, she may see you as safe but also boring. But if you're the guy who knows how to spark emotional highs, you become the experience she never wants to leave. So, how do you do it? Let's break it down. Start with joy. Women are naturally drawn to men who know how to create moments of happiness. It could be a funny story you tell, a spontaneous adventure you plan, or even a well-timed compliment that makes her feel truly seen. But don't overdo it. Compliments lose their power if they're constant or generic. Instead of saying, "You look great," try something like, "You've got this energy about you tonight, it's impossible to ignore." Suddenly, the compliment feels different. Next is excitement. Plan something unexpected. Don't settle for the same dinner and movie routine. Take her somewhere new, or surprise her with a thoughtful gesture. Imagine picking her up and saying, "I've got a surprise for you tonight." The anticipation alone will get her heart racing, and when the experience delivers, she'll associate that excitement with you. But the real magic happens when you add curiosity into the mix. Leave her wondering just a little. If she asks, "What are we doing tonight?" don't spill all the details right away. Let her guess, build anticipation, and feel part of something special. When you finally reveal the plan, she'll feel that rush of emotional reward. The key is finding the right balance. If you're too predictable, the excitement fades. But if you're too distant or mysterious, she might lose trust. The sweet spot is keeping her intrigued while grounding her in positive, unforgettable experiences. When you master this, you won't just be someone she likes, you'll be someone she can't stop thinking about. Number 5. Mastering push-pull dynamics. Now let's dive into one of the most powerful tools in attraction, the push-pull dynamic. This isn't just a strategy, it's a psychological dance that keeps women emotionally invested. Most men make one of two mistakes: they either push too hard, overwhelming her with attention, or pull too much, acting distant and uninterested. The real magic happens in finding the balance. Here's how it works: push-pull is about giving just enough attention to make her feel wanted, then pulling back just enough to keep her wondering. That space creates intrigue. And when she's wondering about you, she's thinking about you. Let's take texting as an example. Imagine you're having a fun, engaging conversation. Instead of letting it drag on until it fizzles, you end it first. Say something like, "This has been fun, but I've got to run, let's pick this up later." You've pushed by engaging her, but you've also pulled by stepping away on your terms. Now she's left wanting more. On a date, push-pull can be even more powerful. Picture this: you're having a great time, she's laughing at your jokes, and you lean in close, lock eyes, and say, "You're pretty charming, you might even be dangerous." Then, just as she's processing that, you lean back and casually change the subject. That moment of intensity, followed by a subtle withdrawal, creates a contrast that's impossible to ignore. Push-pull works because it taps into a fundamental human need, the desire for what we can't fully have. If you're always available and overly accessible, she doesn't have to work for your attention. But when you introduce a little unpredictability, a little space, she starts to value every moment with you. And here's the best part: push-pull doesn't just create attraction, it keeps it alive, even in long-term relationships. Mastering this dynamic keeps the spark from fading. Let me be clear: push-pull isn't about playing games or manipulating. It's about creating a rhythm that feels alive, dynamic, and exciting. It's about being the kind of man who knows how to balance intensity with ease. And when you do, she won't just want to be around you, she'll feel like she needs to be around you. Number 6. Using fear and desire wisely. Now, we're delving into the deeper territory, the intersection of fear and desire. But let me clarify something up front: when I mention fear, I don't mean instilling terror or making her feel unsafe. I'm talking about a specific kind of emotional fear, the fear of loss. People tend to value what they think they might lose, and women are no different. Consider this: if you had unlimited access to something, would you truly treasure it? Probably not. But if that thing were rare and could be taken away, you'd hold onto it tightly. The same principle applies in relationships. When a woman feels she has to earn your attention, knowing your time and energy aren't guaranteed, she starts valuing you more. Let me give you an example. Imagine you've been seeing someone for a while, and she's beginning to take you for granted. Instead of complaining or trying harder to please her, you subtly pull back. You start focusing more on your own life, your hobbies, goals, and passions. You're still kind and respectful but not as available. What happens then? She starts to notice. She begins to feel that little twinge of fear: what if I'm losing him? That fear reignites her desire. But fear alone isn't enough, it must be paired with desire. If she fears losing you but doesn't desire you, she'll just let you go. That's why it's crucial to keep building that emotional connection, those moments of joy, excitement, and curiosity we discussed earlier. The combination of fear and desire creates a powerful emotional bond. Think of it this way: fear is the spark, but desire is the flame. The spark gets her attention, but the flame keeps her coming back. When you master both, you become unforgettable. There's a fine line here. Using fear and desire wisely means never crossing into manipulation. It's about creating a dynamic where she values you, not one where she feels control. The best way to achieve this is always to come from a place of self-respect. When you respect yourself and value your time and energy, she will too. That's when the magic happens. Number 7. Cultivating mystery through Stoicism. Let me ask you this: why are we drawn to unsolved mysteries, suspenseful movies, or enigmatic people? It's because the human mind craves answers to what it doesn't fully understand. When there's a gap in knowledge, we naturally want to fill it. The same principle applies in relationships. Mystery is one of the most powerful tools of attraction. Yet, in today's world of oversharing and instant gratification, mystery is almost extinct. If you can cultivate it, you'll stand out from every other man she meets. But what does it mean to be mysterious? It's not about being shady or evasive, it's about being intentional with what you reveal and when. It's about letting her peel back the layers of who you are gradually, instead of dumping everything on her at once. Think of yourself as a story she wants to read chapter by chapter, rather than a summary she can skim in 5 minutes. How do you create mystery? Start with the art of selective sharing. When she asks about your past, don't give her a detailed timeline of your entire life. Instead, share snippets, enough to spark curiosity, but not so much that she feels like she knows everything about you. For example, instead of saying, "I used to work as a graphic designer for 5 years before switching careers," you could say, "I've had a lot of creative jobs in the past. It's a long story, but maybe I'll tell you about it someday." See the difference? The first answer closes the topic, the second leaves her wanting to know more. Mystery also extends to your actions. Don't always be predictable. If you're always available, always saying yes, and always explaining yourself, you become transparent, and transparency kills intrigue. Instead, keep her guessing a little. Maybe you take a day or two to respond to her text because you're genuinely busy living your life. Maybe you surprise her with a spontaneous date or an unexpected compliment. The key is to keep her on her toes, never quite sure what's coming next. Here's where Stoicism comes in. Mystery isn't just about what you say or do, it's about how you carry yourself. A Stoic man is naturally mysterious because he doesn't overreact, overshare, or overcompensate. He stays calm, collected, and composed even in the face of chaos. This composure makes people wonder what's going on in his mind. What's his story? That wonder is what draws women in. For example, imagine you're on a date, and she tries to test you with a provocative question like, "Why are you still single?" Most men would either get defensive or try to justify themselves. But a Stoic man, he'd smile, take a sip of his drink, and say, "I guess I just haven't met anyone who's convinced me to change that yet." That response is confident, mysterious, and intriguing all at once. It shows her that you're selective, you know your worth, and you're not in a rush to settle. Mystery also ties into scarcity. If you're always available, always accessible, and always an open book, she won't feel the need to chase you. But if you show her that your time and attention are valuable, that she has to earn access to your inner world, she'll value you more. And when she values you, she won't be able to stop thinking about you. Start by asking yourself, what parts of my life do I share too easily? Is it my emotions, my schedule, my goals? Then, make a conscious effort to pull back a little. Don't lie or hide who you are, that's not the point. The point is to let her discover you piece by piece, instead of handing her the full picture up front. The more she discovers, the more invested she'll become. Number 8. Emotional availability and its impact. Now let's address one of the most misunderstood aspects of relationships, emotional availability. You've likely heard the term before. Women desire a man who is emotionally available, right? Well, yes and no. The truth is, women want a man who is emotionally intelligent, but not emotionally excessive. Let me explain. Being emotionally available doesn't mean pouring your heart out on the first date or sharing every fleeting thought. It means knowing how to express your emotions in a way that demonstrates strength, not weakness. It means being vulnerable, but only when the moment is appropriate. Most importantly, it means being in control of your emotions rather than letting them control you. Women don't respect men who are overly emotional. If you're constantly complaining, oversharing, or seeking reassurance, she'll begin to see you as a burden rather than a partner. But if you can show her that you can handle your emotions and face challenges without falling apart, she'll see you as a leader, someone she can rely on. Think of it this way, emotional availability is like seasoning. A little bit can enhance the relationship, but too much can ruin it. When you're selective about what you share, it creates a sense of depth and mystery. She starts to feel like she's earned your trust, like she's one of the few who gets to see the real you. And that feeling is incredibly powerful. Let's say you're having a tough week at work. Instead of unloading all your frustrations on her, you could say something like, "It's been a challenging week, but I'm handling it. Let's talk about something more fun." This response shows her that you're human and have struggles, but also that you're strong enough to handle them on your own. It makes her respect you rather than pity you. Emotional availability is most effective when it's gradual. You don't want to reveal everything right away, instead, let her earn your vulnerability over time. For example, if she asks about your past relationships, you might say, "I've learned a lot from them, but it's not something I usually talk about right away." This response does two things: it shows her you're willing to open up, but only when the time is right, making her even more curious about you. But emotional availability isn't just about what you share, it's also about how you handle her emotions. When she's upset, can you stay calm and supportive, or do you become defensive and overwhelmed? When she's happy, can you celebrate with her, or do you downplay her feelings? Your ability to navigate her emotions is just as important as managing your own. For example, let's say she's venting about a bad day. Most men make the mistake of trying to fix the problem or dismissing it altogether. But a man who understands emotional availability knows that sometimes all she wants is for you to listen. You don't have to solve everything, just be present, empathetic, and calm. That's what makes her feel safe, respected, and understood. Finally, remember this: emotional availability is a two-way street. If she's not willing to meet you halfway, if she's constantly draining your energy without giving anything back, it's a red flag. Relationships should balance give and take, not a one-sided emotional burden. Know your worth and don't settle for less. When you master emotional availability, when you balance strength with vulnerability, mystery with openness, you become the man she can't stop thinking about. You become the man who stands out in a sea of emotionally reckless guys. And that, my friend, is how you create a connection that lasts. Number 9. Building self-value. Let me share something most men get completely wrong. Women don't chase men because of what the men offer. They chase men because of how those men value themselves. If you don't see yourself as valuable, why should she? Building self-value is the foundation of every successful relationship, yet it's the one thing most guys overlook. They think they can fake confidence, buy her affection with grand gestures, or impress her with status symbols. But deep down, she knows the truth. Women are incredibly perceptive, they can sense insecurity, desperation, or a lack of purpose from a mile away. Here's the harsh reality: if you're putting a woman on a pedestal and making her the center of your world, she's already losing interest. Why? Because you've made it clear that your value depends on her validation. That's not attractive, it's exhausting. Women want to be with a man who knows his worth, who values his time, and who doesn't need anyone else to define him. A man like that isn't chasing her because he's too busy chasing his own goals. So, how do you build self-value? It starts with creating a life that excites you. What are you passionate about? What gets you out of bed in the morning? If you can't answer those questions, it's time to figure it out. Women are drawn to men with purpose, men who have a mission beyond just being in a relationship. When you're passionate about your life, that energy is contagious. She'll want to be a part of it, not because you need her, but because you're already whole on your own. Let me give you an example. Imagine two men. One spends his free time scrolling social media, complaining about his lack of success, and waiting for a woman to come along and fix his life. The other is constantly improving himself, reading books, hitting the gym, learning new skills, and pursuing his dreams. Which one do you think she's going to chase? The second man doesn't even have to try, his self-value is evident in everything he does. But self-value isn't just about accomplishments. It's also about boundaries. If you don't set boundaries and let people walk all over you, you're telling the world and her that you don't respect yourself. And if you don't respect yourself, how can you expect her to? For example, if she cancels plans at the last minute and you immediately reschedule to accommodate her, you're showing her that your time isn't valuable. But if you calmly say, "No worries, let me know when you're free again," and then go about your day, you're setting a boundary. You're showing her that your time matters, and trust me, she'll notice. Building self-value also means embracing rejection. Not every woman will be interested in you, and that's okay. When you tie your self-worth to whether or not she likes you, you're giving her all the power. But when you see rejection as part of the process, as an opportunity to grow, you take that power back. Rejection doesn't define you, it refines you. Every no brings you closer to the right yes. And when you carry yourself with that mindset, women can feel it. They sense that you're not desperate, that you're not afraid of losing them, and that confidence is magnetic. Finally, self-value is about consistency. It's not something you turn on when you're around her and then forget about when you're alone. It's a way of life. It's how you treat yourself, how you spend your time, and how you show up in the world. When you live with self-respect and hold yourself to high standards, she won't just be attracted to you, she'll admire you. And that admiration is the foundation of a deep, lasting connection. Number 10. The long-term power of emotional stability. Now let's bring everything together. We've discussed emotional tension, mystery, self-value, and much more. But none of it matters if you can't sustain it. Attraction may begin with sparks, but it endures with stability. Emotional stability is the glue that holds it all together. Without it, the connection you build will eventually crumble. Emotional stability isn't just about staying calm during challenges, it's about being consistent in who you are. Women are naturally drawn to men they can trust, men who don't shift their personality based on mood or circumstance. If you're kind one day but cold the next, or confident in the beginning but insecure over time, she'll start to question the foundation of your relationship. Stability fosters safety, and safety is what allows her to truly connect with and open up to you. Think about this: have you ever been around someone whose unpredictability made them exhausting to be with? Someone who couldn't control their temper or whose mood swings kept you walking on eggshells. Now imagine being the opposite of that, a man who is a source of calm, who handles life's challenges without losing his cool. That's emotional stability. It's one of the most attractive traits you can cultivate. So how do you develop it? It starts with self-awareness. Pay attention to your emotional triggers, the things that set you off, and focus on responding rather than reacting. For instance, if she says something that feels critical, resist the urge to get defensive. Instead, pause, take a breath, and approach it with curiosity. Ask her what she meant, or simply let it go. Emotional stability isn't about suppressing your feelings but about choosing how to express them. Managing stress is another key element. Life is full of challenges, and how you handle them speaks volumes about who you are. If you're constantly overwhelmed, it will spill over into your relationships. But when you take care of yourself, through exercise, mindfulness, or pursuing your passions, you'll be better equipped to navigate whatever comes your way. When she sees that you can face life's ups and downs with grace, she'll feel more secure in the relationship. Consistency is also crucial. If you say you'll do something, follow through. If you make a promise, keep it. While it sounds simple, many men overlook this. Your actions must align with your words. When you're consistent, she doesn't have to second-guess your feelings or intentions. She can trust you, and trust is the foundation of long-term attraction. Finally, emotional stability means being comfortable with uncertainty. Relationships aren't always easy. There will be moments of doubt, conflict, and change. But if you can remain grounded during those times, if you can lead with confidence and clarity, you'll set the tone for the relationship. She'll see you as her rock, her safe haven, the one person she can count on no matter what. Here's the bottom line: women don't want perfect men. They want men who are real, strong, and steady. Emotional stability isn't about never feeling anything, it's about controlling your feelings rather than letting them control you. When you master this, you don't just attract women, you keep them. By now, you've unlocked the keys to transforming your relationships and your life. This isn't about chasing, begging, or hoping she notices you. It's about becoming the man she's naturally drawn to, a man who values himself, creates emotional tension, and embodies both mystery and stability. These aren't just strategies, they're a way of life. When you live by these principles, you'll notice not just a change in how women respond to you but in how the world treats you. You're not here to just survive, you're here to thrive. Now it's time to take action. The knowledge is yours, the next move is up to you. If this resonated with you, don't let it end here. Hit the subscribe button and join a movement of men dedicated to mastering themselves and their relationships. Your support helps this channel grow and ensures more men like you discover this life-changing content. Drop a comment below with the phrase, "I choose to lead, not chase." Because when you take control, everything else falls into place. And don't forget to like this video and turn on notifications so you never miss another insight that could redefine your future. Let's grow, lead, and thrive together.